King Ramses' curse, Courage the Cowardly Dog. Sometimes the scariest things don't show up with a bang. They just float across your screen saying, "Return the slab," or "Suffer my curse." This Courage episode uses mood and atmosphere in ways most kids' shows would never dare. King Ramses isn't your average ghost. His weird, paper-thin look and jerky movements hit something primal in our brains. The simple animation actually makes him more terrifying, not less. What makes Return the Slab stand out is how it builds up through 3 different curses, each one weirder than the last. From blood flooding the house to music so awful it physically hurts the characters, the episode creates a feeling of punishment that can't be escaped. The brilliance is in how simple it is. Just give back what you stole. But human greed, shown through Eustace's stubborn refusal, guarantees the suffering continues. As Courage desperately tries to fix things while dodging increasingly bizarre consequences, we see the real horror. Sometimes the scariest monster is just the stubborn person sitting next to you. Good thing they didn't make King Ramses with today's ultra-realistic CGI. Some nightmares are better left with the old-school graphics. Playtest, Black Mirror. In Black Mirror's 3rd season, Playtest turns gaming horror into existential dread. Our main character, Cooper, running from grief with nothing but charm, stumbles into a tech company's experimental augmented reality game. Little does he know he's about to play the last game of his life. The episode's genius isn't in jump scares, though it has those. It's in how it stacks reality upon reality until you're completely lost. One minute Cooper is fighting a digital spider, the next he's facing his deepest fears brought to life. And just when you think you understand the rules, everything changes. What haunts viewers long after is the episode's Russian doll structure. Each time Cooper thinks he's escaped, he's actually fallen deeper into the simulation. The true horror hits when you realize his mind has been trapped in a loop, experiencing his own death thousands of times in less than half a second. Called Mom becomes the most devastating 2 words you'll ever hear. Director Dan Trachtenberg plays with our perception by making Cooper's fear of losing his mind, of becoming like his father, come true as his own mind falls apart. The game interface disappears until Cooper can't tell what's memory and what's simulation. As one character coldly notes, "The demo's going well, don't you think?" While Cooper's brain basically melts. Playtest isn't just scary, it suggests that our most advanced technology might just be a faster way to experience our worst fears. Home, the X-Files, TV has rules, standards, lines that shouldn't be crossed. Then there's Home. The X-Files episode's so disturbing that Fox banned it after it first aired. Behind its small-town Pennsylvania setting lurks a horror that network TV hadn't dared show. The Peacock family, generations of inbred mutants living without electricity, modern medicine, or moral boundaries. What makes Home so unbearable isn't just its grotesque villains, but how unflinchingly it examines their existence. The episode opens with the burial of a deformed baby, moves to a baseball game interrupted by body parts, and ends with the revelation that made even hardcore viewers recoil. Mrs. Peacock, a quadruple amputee kept under a bed, is both mother and grandmother to her son's children. Directors deliberately shot the episode with a golden, Norman Rockwell-like filter, creating a sick contrast between idealized American small-town imagery and the depravity happening within it. The infamous attack scene, where the Peacock brothers murder a sheriff and his wife to Johnny Mathis's "Wonderful, Wonderful," creates a contrast so disturbing it feels like an assault on your emotions. Home terrifies because it suggests that behind America's idealized rural communities might lurk unimaginable perversions of family, protected by isolation and people looking the other way. As Mulder darkly says, the very existence of the Peacock family implies a level of degradation we'd rather not confront. Some episodes entertain. This one contaminates. The Tale of the Dead Man's Float. Are you afraid of the dark? Childhood fears show up in the weirdest places. A dark closet, a basement stairwell, or, as the Tale of the Dead Man's Float shows, in the seemingly innocent blue water of a swimming pool, where something ancient and hungry waits below the surface. This episode's power comes from understanding exactly what scares kids: the violation of safe spaces. A school pool, where kids should have fun and freedom, becomes a hunting ground when a ghost starts claiming victims. The genius is how the episode turns water itself into something evil and inescapable. But the real nightmare fuel is the monster, a rotting skeletal figure dripping with red sinew and seaweed that makes absolutely no concessions to its young audience. The creature looks imported from an R-rated horror film, appearing with shocking violence in a show made for kids. Its growl and the way it melts into the water, only to reform behind its victims, creates a feeling of hopeless vulnerability. You can't fight what you can't grab. What sticks with you most is the episode's unflinching death scene, where we watch a character desperately gasping for air as skeletal hands drag him underwater. For many millennials, this was their first encounter with the concept that death can come for anyone, even in kids' shows. Remember when Nickelodeon thought this was appropriate bedtime viewing? No wonder our generation has anxiety issues. Lonely Souls, Twin Peaks. Some TV moments shock you for a second. Others completely rewire your understanding of what storytelling can do to an audience. Twin Peaks' revelation of Laura Palmer's killer belongs firmly in the second category. The scene begins normally enough with Leland Palmer adjusting his tie in the mirror. Then comes the transformation. White hair, that inhuman smile, and the realization that Bob hasn't just been possessing Leland. In some incomprehensible way, Leland is Bob. What follows is TV's most harrowing father-daughter murder scene, made all the more horrific by being shown mostly through suggestion. Director David Lynch stages this nightmare like a twisted ballet. The strobe lights, the dancing, the blood-curdling screams mixed with dreamy music. Most disturbing is how Lynch breaks the reality of the scene. Are we watching supernatural possession, extreme mental splitting, or something TV had never shown before? The confusion makes it impossible to process rationally. What makes this more than just shocking is how it forces us to rethink everything we've seen. Every interaction between Leland and Laura now carries the shadow of both incestuous abuse and supernatural violation. The mystery was never really who killed Laura Palmer, but what does it mean to be killed by someone who is both your father and not your father? Lynch understood that true horror lies not in what's explicitly shown, but in what happens when reality itself becomes unreliable. Blink. Doctor Who. The most terrifying monsters don't chase you. They wait for you to make a mistake. In Blink, writer Stephen Moffat creates predators so perfectly designed they jump from the screen into your daily life. The Weeping Angels. Beings that can only move when no one is looking at them. The episode's brilliance lies in how it weaponizes a universal childhood game. Don't blink, don't turn your back, don't look away. Suddenly, every stone angel in every cemetery, garden, and church becomes a potential threat. The simple act of blinking, something humans do almost 30,000 times daily, becomes a death sentence. The angels don't just kill you, they send you back in time, feeding off the potential energy of the life you would have lived. What makes Blink truly unsettling is how it pulls you into its horror. Every time the camera cuts away, you can't help wondering, did they move? The fourth wall breaks completely during the episode's most chilling scene, where the angels almost come through the TV screen itself. Suddenly, you're no longer just watching the episode is watching you. Perhaps most disturbing is how Blink transforms safety into danger. We instinctively feel secure when we can see potential threats, but the episode flips this. Seeing the angels is what makes you vulnerable to them. Each statue becomes a Schrodinger's predator, simultaneously harmless and deadly until observation collapses its state. Next time you walk past a statue and feel compelled to check if it's moved, well, that's Blink living in your head, rent-free. It's a Good Life, the Twilight Zone. The most profound horrors don't have monstrous faces. They have the face of a child with absolute power. It's a Good Life gives us 6-year-old Anthony Fremont, who has godlike abilities to reshape reality according to his whims, and the town of Peaksville that lives in constant fear of making him unhappy. What makes this episode so deeply unsettling isn't supernatural spectacle, but its unflinching look at thought control. The townspeople must not only pretend to enjoy Anthony's miracles, like making it snow in July, destroying crops they need to survive, but must genuinely think positive thoughts, as Anthony can read minds. The constant strain of faking happiness while suppressing natural reactions creates a perfect psychological prison. Director James Sheldon creates a masterclass in sustained dread, showing us adults frozen in permanent smiles while their eyes scream in silent horror. The episode's most disturbing moment comes when a man accidentally thinks negative thoughts and is transformed into a horrific jack-in-the-box creature. Still conscious, still suffering, but now a real good thing in Anthony's twisted opinion. The true terror lies in the episode's political message. This is totalitarianism boiled down to its essence. Not only must actions conform, but thoughts themselves must be purged of dissent. The final line, "It's a good life," spoken through gritted teeth as the camera lingers on faces twisted with suppressed anguish, suggests the most horrifying thought of all, that humans can adapt to living under even the most monstrous conditions. And isn't that a real good thing? Yes, a real good thing. Jibaro, Love, Death, and Robots. In the world of animated horror, Jibaro stands as a bloody masterpiece turning folklore into a toxic relationship dance. Director Alberto Mielgo creates a visual experience so disorienting it makes you dizzy. Manipulated frame rates, hyper-detailed textures, and camera movements both intimate and violently invasive. The episode flips siren mythology on its head. Our deaf knight, immune to the golden siren's deadly song, becomes both her obsession and destruction. What unfolds isn't a simple monster story, but a gruesome courtship where predator and prey constantly switch roles. The siren, covered in precious metals that rattle with her movements, creates a soundscape both beautiful and physically painful. Most unsettling is how the episode weaponizes our senses. The bizarre audio design, metallic scraping, jarring music, and periods of silence mimicking the knight's deafness creates profound unease that bypasses rational thought. When the knight gains hearing through the siren's golden tears, only to betray and dismember her for wealth, the episode transforms into brutal metaphor for extractive colonialism. The final sequence, where the knight drinks from the contaminated lake and falls victim to the reborn siren, delivers poetic justice through auditory torture. Some nightmares don't need monsters. Just humans being humans is horror enough.
Subscribe for more interesting stuff. Tell us your experience in the comments.